we can roll right back to when I very first started talking and doing videos about Brexit. A lot of the stuff I have been saying for nigh on now 4 to 5 years has been pretty much the same and has pretty much come true. And one of the things that we said way back then, which the Brexiteers were assuring us that we could do, that we could, quote, punch well above our weight, was that no, that wasn't going to happen because in trade deals, the bigger economy gets to make more demands because, quite frankly, you're a smaller economy and they don't need you. And this is going to be really put to the test because this was why the European Union was so fantastic because countries like, France, Germany, they could do okay in getting trade deals. But when they pool their sovereignty together to get these trade deals as 20, as 26 nations, then they can get a whole lot more. That's why the single market and customs union was so important. And it was important not only to our economy, but so many companies within our economy. And we are finding out very, very quickly. We only did the report yesterday about how many, small and medium-sized companies have felt that they've been sold an absolute, terrible deal. And they said it very clearly. Because of the pandemic, most companies aren't working at full capacity or even full tilt. In even some areas and sectors of service aren't even fully open. So when they get back to work at full capacity, which I will probably start to see, I think, in the coming weeks or months, I think you will start to see more and more articles like this. I mean, you've had George Eustace, of all things, come out and saying companies should sort this out for themselves. This is the problem that the Brexiteers made where there wasn't a problem before. And we've said it before, the reason why the UK ended up joining the European Union in the first place was because we couldn't get good deals anymore in the rest of the world. And because the European Union was becoming more and more a thing, we had to join it. And the companies that were out there, the British companies, put the pressure on the Conservative Party to join. That's going to happen again. History will just repeat itself because these companies will go, we cannot afford not to be in the single market and customs union because it does not give us a competitive advantage. And there's one article we quoted so long ago that these free market fundamentalists are all about trade and, the economy and, that type of thing. Their biggest goal of all should be the single market. And yet they chose to leave it. So anyway, today we're going to today's article because, as we said at the beginning, bigger countries and bigger economies they've got a bigger stick to swing compared to ours, which is a little twig. So, as always, please do remember to hit that like and share button. And of course, down below there is a link to my Patreon page and a one-off donation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can, buy me coffee. And thank you to all those people who do support me that way. So, this comes from The Guardian. The title is, "The US Threatens Tariffs on UK Exports Over Digital Service Tax." So, the Biden administration has warned it could slap a 25% tariffs on British exports to the US after the UK levied a digital service tax on major technological companies. So here you're now seeing our basic inability by ourselves to effectively take on larger economies. We told you so this would happen, but, there you go. So, the price of clothing and footwear, ceramics, beauty products, and furniture exports to the US could raise by a quarter, according to the list published by the US officials. The duties are designed to raise $325 million, equal to the estimates of how much Britain can expect to raise from taxing the UK sales of Amazon, Google, Facebook, eBay, and other tech companies, most of them based in the US. US President Joe Biden has reversed has revised obligations to a global tax on cross-border digital sales adopted by his predecessor, and ended a surcharge on Scottish whisky. That was imposed by Donald Trump after a dispute over subsidies to the aircraft manufacturer Airbus. But the retaliation was as expected against France and Britain after they went ahead with the digital service tax before a wider agreement was in place. The UK Trade Department spokesperson said the country wanted to make sure tech firms pay their fair share of tax, and said that the new digital service tax was a responsible, proportionate, non-discriminatory. It is also temporary. They added that if the US went ahead, the UK would consider all options to defend UK interests and industry. So, essentially, the UK, if this escalates, is going to try and get into a trade war with the US. How well do you think that's going to turn out? Not very well at all. I can tell you that now. The UK going into a trade war with the US is just not going to work. And remember, the big goal of Brexit was that apparently we could do this fantastic trade deal with America. You know? But nope. Not going to work out like that. Not going to work out like that at all. And once again, the fantasy of Brexit comes tumbling down. So, here we are. So, the trade officials from the UK and US held talks about the digital service tax on the 4th of December. And the UK government sources stressed the tax was a temporary solution to widely held concerns with international corporation tax rules. Brought in last April, the digital service tax levies a 2% charge on the revenues of such engines as social media services and online marketplaces. Tech companies will continue to pay corporation tax on their UK profits, but with most profits depressed by royalty and management fees charged by parent companies abroad, the mechanism known as transfer pricing, the Treasury is expected to keep the tax in place. As a result, the Office for Budget Responsibility calculated that the new tax would raise over $300 million in the current financial year, before raising to $400 million in 2021 to 2022. So I've got no problem with this tax. I think, us targeting these companies like this is a very fair way. It's no secret that tech companies, especially US-based tech companies, make hundreds of millions of pounds in sales from the UK, and that what they do is they just move the money, and so that it doesn't get taxed, and then they use all sorts of fun tax loopholes and things like that, and they can essentially get away with it. Now, one of the things that the EU was doing, because again it was such a big economy and it could take on these corporations, and did so winning very, very successfully, I might add. They took on Google, they've taken on Amazon, they've taken on Apple, and they've won every single time, because none of these countries want to be cut out of the single market and customs union. And now we're on our own, these companies just go. And what's even more hilarious is, once again, we're meant to be, quote, getting along and getting this fantastic trade deal. While Boris Johnson was making his fantastic speech about flags, at the exact same time that was going on, Biden was having a meeting with Ursula von der Leyen and reiterated his commitment to rebuilding US relations with the EU. We are no longer in the EU. One of our big things that we had was that we were in the EU and we were friends with America and we could help them advance their agendas. And as we always said, back in 2016, when Obama said it himself, you're not going to be at the front of the queue for a trade deal, because were just not that important. So, as always, please do remember to hit that like and share button. And of course, down below there is a link to my Patreon page as well as a one-off donation link. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you all next time.